So in this divorce with Mike Epps, his wife, I don't know who's getting over on who or who's getting the most out of the deal, but basically his wife is going to benefit, financially in certain ways. But then again, some would say that he benefits because, she gave birth to his kids. She's raising his babies and all this other stuff. So, whose side you're on in that, is kind of up to you. But let me see. From what I'm seeing here, also, it looks like he's walking away with 10 properties in Indiana. So it looks like Mike was a wealth builder in that regard. He was buying property. He has a 2016 Mercedes, a 2015 Jeep Cherokee, a 79 Caddy, a 2011 Suzuki Chopper, and his ex-wife is getting, in addition to the 25,000 a month in spouse support and 15,000 a month for the kids, she's getting a 2014 Bentley, a 2013 Mercedes, a 2015 Prius, and a 2013 Land Rover. Now, I'm gonna just be honest with you and tell you that I don't understand why you need that many cars. I don't know. I mean, you only drive one car at once. Um, I don't actually even own a car. I could buy as many cars as I kind of wanted to. I could buy several cars, I guess, if I wanted to, but I don't see any need for that. I live in Chicago anyway. In Chicago, they have good public transportation, but I would say that that's a little baffling to me. I think that when you get, to this point where as consumers, remember, black people are the ultimate consumers. We love to spend money and just buy things. And I'm not saying this is true about Mike Epps. I don't know what Mike Epps does with his wealth. I don't know if Mike Epps has built wealth. I know he's built a great career. I know he's a great comedian. He's a great actor, all this stuff, but I don't know anything about how much wealth he's actually created. But I will say that, this whole idea of having, what, 6 or 7 cars and you're just one family, that's a little bit strange to me. I think that, also one of the things I would encourage people to do is if you're gonna get married, this is where just me being given like raw advice based on my observations. If you're gonna get married, you should think of marriage as an investment. Think of marriage as a way to, um, you know, give me one second here. I had to hide. I had to hide somebody from the Instagram feed because he's saying a bunch of retarded shit. Um, if you think about marriage, make sure you think about marriage for what it is. Marriage is the ultimate investment. Marriage is something that is going to affect you for the rest of your life. Even if you don't stay married to that person, you're still married. You're still committed for life. You're going to be paying money for life. You're going to be connected to them emotionally for life. You probably have children together. Children don't usually die before you do, so they're going to be around for life. So when you tie those knots, you got to think it through, and it has to be deeper than just, look how beautiful she is, or he's such a cool person, and he makes me laugh. I kind of think that making a plan and tying that plan into everything else you're doing is really important. It's like in investing theory. One of the things that we taught when I would teach finance, for all those years I was teaching at University of Kentucky and Syracuse and all that. One of the things that I would teach the students about, forming a portfolio, collecting your investments together or adding something to your collection of investments is what they call correlation. Correlation is, asking yourself, how does this asset sort of add or subtract to whatever else I have going on? How does this fit? How does it fit? Like a basketball team. A good coach doesn't add players to the team just based on who the best player is. They add players to the team based on what the team needs, right? So if they see a player who's talented, who's going to ruin the flow of the rest of the team, they won't add that person to the team. But if they see another person who is a great role player and they say, oh, well, he's a great point guard, we need a point guard. If we get a good point guard to play next to LeBron, then we can win more championships, right? Then that's how a coach adds players to the team. Well, the same thing is true with your life. Every piece of your life is an asset for you. Everything that you have going on that's good for you is an asset, whether it's your health, your wealth, your plans and goals, your education, your other family members. And so when you bring somebody in, it's like you're bringing in a new teammate, you're bringing in a new asset. That asset has to fit. So if you are a man and you're trying to go out and bust your ass and go conquer the world and become the greatest, pianist in the world, or the biggest entrepreneur on the planet or whatever, and you bring in a woman into your life, and she needs to fit. She needs to fit what your goals are. She needs to fit with your family. If your mama and your sister can't stand her, then it's going to be hard for her to blend into the family. If she's, if you're a grinder and she's lazy and unfocused and into all kinds of, once you get up and hit the weed and liquor every morning, then that's not necessarily going to be a fit for what you're trying to become. If you're trying to become an Olympic athlete and she's trying to get you to eat potato chips and cupcakes every day, then that's not a good fit either, right? So ultimately, it's always about fit. So when I look at the Mike Epps celebrity divorce, if I was to be 100% real and honest about this, and because we had some really good honest conversations in the Black Love Blueprint. I think you guys are gonna like that movie. um, I would say that celebrity divorces are as predictable as, as sunshine in Bermuda. You know, that they're gonna happen. I don't care how deeply in love people are. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, about half of y'all ain't gonna make it, and half of the other half who do make it, y'all gonna just be pretending to be happy. You're really gonna be miserable, and it doesn't mean I'm being a pessimist. It means I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at the facts. I'm looking at all the dead marriages I've seen. I'm looking at all the people who swore they were going to love each other forever, who now want to kill each other. And so I think that it's important to just realize that if you choose to get married, number one, take it very seriously. Do your research. Go get counseling to you make sure you enter the marriage in the right way, and also get counseling to make sure you preserve the marriage, because that's an important asset. Wealthy people, most people that really do well financially long term, are people that also protect their marriage and protect their family, hold their families together. They understand that relationships are really important when it comes to building empires and maintaining empires. That's why you would have kingdoms merge by people saying, you know what, it doesn't matter if she likes him or if he likes her. When these two get married, they can form a more powerful kingdom. Now, I'm not trying to say that should be your primary concern, but what I am trying to say is that people aren't thinking about any of that. People are really thinking about love and lust and attraction as an emotional, transitory process. Like, oh man, look at her ass, or oh girl, he's so good in the bedroom, and whatever it is people are thinking about, it's not fitting into the long term plan. And if you're not fitting your actions into the long term plan, then you will not win the long term game. You'll win the short-term game. You'll win the battles and you'll lose the wars. So anyway, so with Mike Epps, he's going to be paying. I think it looks like he's paying his wife $40,000 a month. That's $500,000 a year. So I don't know how much money Mike Epps makes, but let me see. It sounds like that's a pretty painful amount of money to pay. But let me see here. Let me see, what's Mike Epps' salary for 2016. Does anybody know? Let me see here. Let me see what his income was for 2016. Okay, they got his net worth on this website, but these websites are never reliable. They're claiming his net worth is $6 million, which honestly, that's really not a ton of money, especially for that kind of, $500,000 a year. I mean, my God, that's a ton. And so, one other thing I have to be honest and say is that I believe that anybody who's strategic about their business will consider getting a prenup if they get married, not because you're trying to protect yourself from somebody trying to hurt you. You're trying to protect yourself from chaos. I think a prenup protects you from, messy divorces, right? A messy divorce to me happens when, this person you used to love, you was running around talking about how much you was gonna be with this girl or this guy for the rest of your life and all this other stuff, and then suddenly, things fall apart, things happen, people, decide they want to be with somebody else, or somebody decides they don't love so and so anymore, or so the trust is gone, or whatever it was that made you come together in the first place, it disappears. And then suddenly, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years later, you're going to those same people, the people that you swore, you'll love, that you'd love this person, for the rest of your life. The same people you were telling how much you love this person, now you're telling them how much you hate them. Now you got to be careful about that, because that makes you look kind of silly. It makes you look like you can't make good decisions, to be honest with you. So the way you talk about your ex is also the way you're talking about yourself. You're real, because think about this. I mean, imagine if you got a friend who is, in your face saying, oh, well, don't you disrespect my man. My man is good. My man is a top priority. He's more important than blah, 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 blah. And then a year later, your friend is like, man, he ain't shit. He ain't nothing. Yeah, he ain't nothing but a blah, blah, blah. He's an idiot. He's a dummy. I mean, what you're really kind of saying is that you picked a dummy, that you pick dummies, for a living. And you'll see some people that'll literally do that cycle for their whole life. I love him. I hate him. I love him. I hate him. I love him. I hate him. Oh, she's the best. I can't stand her. She's the best. She's great. She's a gold digger. She's wonderful. Oh, that bitch. I can't stand that bitch. It makes you look crazy. It makes you look schizophrenic. Really. So I would almost say that a sign of maturity is when you can get to the point where you could talk about an ex and say, it didn't work out. I wish him the best. And that's it. Just be respectful. Because when you talk about somebody, it's almost like have you ever seen somebody who's like in an abusive relationship and they'll come and tell you all the horrible things that their partner is doing to them, like, oh, he beat me and he's a horrible person and he cheats and he does this and he abuses me, blah 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 blah. And then you learn how to hate that person, right? Based on what they're telling you. They're training you to hate that person. And then later on, they come back and the person's on their arm and they're talking about how much they love them and they're expecting you to switch over with them, to switch your emotions again. Well, wait a minute, I can't respect this man now because you spent so much time telling me what a horrible person he is. That's a sign of immaturity too, right? Maturity is when you keep your shit to yourself until you're really ready for the public to know. I mean, believe this. I mean, understand, the minute you open your mouth and you start talking about how crappy and horrible and mean your ex is, everybody's going to be listening. Anybody who truly loves you is going to connect to your emotion. If you can't stand him and you think he's a piece of shit, they're going to think he's a piece of shit too. And here's the problem. They're not going to go home and go fuck him the next day. So when they think that he's a piece of shit, they're not going to somehow translate and flip their emotion 2 weeks later because they had some good sex with him. They're sitting there thinking, yeah, he's a piece of shit. Wait a minute, what do you mean he's a wonderful guy and you're going to marry him? I don't get it. I had a friend like that. Would call me every day, was telling me how horrible her boyfriend was. I can't stand him, Boyce, and I got to break up with him, and he did this to me, and let me tell you what he did next. And every day, I'm talking about days in a row. And then one day she calls me up, and I said, "What you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm excited because we're getting married." I'm like, "What? You getting married to the asshole that you've been talking to me about for the last 2 weeks?" I can't support that. That doesn't make any sense to me. But so the thing is that you got to be cautious about what you talk about. I don't know. Again, that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, let me move back. So prenups, I think, are good. I consider a prenup to not so much be something where you are telling somebody, oh, I expect us to get a divorce. Prenups are like Chris Rock said. It's insurance. It's in case shit. In case shit means that in case shit don't go right, we need to have a peaceable and amicable parting of ways. Um, a peaceable transition of power, if you will, is one of the keys to holding any institution together. Whether you talk about the United States government or talk about the institution called your life, right? When we transition from President Obama to President Trump, and then transition from President Trump to President whoever, President Kanye, whoever it is, one of the most important elements of our democracy is the ability to transfer power without there being violence and chaos and craziness, because violence is going to destroy the country. Chaos will hurt all of us, right? So the same thing is true with your life. Okay, you decide, you're a man, you pick a queen, and y'all decide to ride it out. It doesn't work out. Well, you want to make sure that when you decide to part ways, that the transition is peaceable, because if the transition is peaceful, that gives you the ability to protect the shit that you got. You're protecting what you've built. You're making sure that the lawyers don't come in and suck the blood out of everything that you have built and worked for, and that you also don't spend all your time that you should be spending building your empire. You spend all that time arguing with your spouse and fighting in court and paying lawyers and all this other stuff. That's bad relationships are a very easy way to destroy wealth. So ultimately, just like Denzel Washington's character said in Crimson Tide, he explained it very well to Gene Hackman. He said, the enemy of war is war itself, which means that your goal is to say, look, you know what? I love you so much. I want to be with you for the next 10 million years. But just in case that doesn't work out, I want to make sure that we go ahead and set the terms out right now. We're going to do what Dr. Boyce Watkins calls optimal contracting. It's not my terms. The term is from financial theory. There's a whole set of theories about this. We learned about it all through my doctoral program. We're going to engage in optimal contracting. Now, what that means is we're not going to figure out how to divide the assets in the middle of the divorce. You don't figure out how to put out, you don't figure out your fire department action plan in the middle of the fire. That's kind of hard to do that, right? You can't plan on how you're going to put the fire out while the fire's burning because you're too busy getting burned, right? Instead, we're going to put together the plan before the fire happens. So before we get to the point where we can't stand each other and we hate each other's guts and we want to fight like cats and dogs, we're going to go ahead right now while we love each other and trust each other and have each other's best interests at heart. We're going to go ahead and just lay out the terms and lay them out in a way that's fair. There won't be any vindictiveness in any of this. There won't be anybody trying to hold up somebody else's life by saying, I refuse to move out of the house or I refuse to let you see your kids. None of that. We're going to talk about the visitation right now on paper. 50-50. I get to see my kids half the time. You get to see the kids half the time. We're going to lay out the wealth. Okay, we're going to split the assets 50-50 or whatever it is. Or I get this and you get that, and that's how we're going to do it. Right? You lay all the terms out on paper in advance so that you can have a peaceful transition so you can protect your empire. Peaceful transitions of power are one of the most critical elements of maintaining the sovereignty and the strength of any institution, whether you're talking about a government, a corporation, or a human being. Your corporation, your government, your institution is this thing called your life. It is also your family, and you have to protect those institutions by avoiding the bullshit, avoiding the drama, I mean, I swear to God, it's nothing sadder than when you a high-flying man or woman and you out here trying to go conquer the world and do all these great things, and you got a crazy ex trying to come to your job and bust the windows out or calling all your friends and spreading lies and rumors about you or trying to get on the phone and argue with you all day so you can't get any work done. So be thoughtful about that. That's my 2 cents. I'm probably, people don't like hearing me give relationship advice because they think I'm too, I don't know. I like to think I'm too practical, but then again, maybe people think I'm just not a romantic at heart, and I'm just not in that way. I mean, I believe deeply in love, and I think love is a beautiful thing. Love drives everything in this universe. But what I see in the black community ain't really love. I see a lot of lust. I see a lot of people getting together to either fight or to fuck. And then they make babies, and then next thing you know, the relationships don't last, so the babies end up suffering the most, and we end up all looking crazy and stupid because that same person you were saying I would die for 3 years ago, suddenly you're talking about I want to go kill him. Like first I used to want to die for you, now I want to go kill you, or now I hate your guts, or now you a piece of crap, and it just makes us all look silly and immature because we can't make long-term plans. So anyway, that's it. That was my analysis on the Mike Epps divorce. I ain't really trying to talk about Mike Epps. Mike, if you're watching, I ain't trying to hate on you, dog. I mean, I feel for you and your wife, and I'm sorry that the marriage didn't work out. I wish you guys the very, very best. But every day, celebrity divorces are as predictable as the weather. They happen every day. It usually involves a financial consequence. It usually also involves infidelity. That's a whole nother discussion. If we were to really have an honest conversation about what I think about that, you'd probably blow your mind. I honestly kind of think that it's hilarious that we have all these marriages and people claim that infidelity can really, or people believe things about monogamy that I just honestly think might be a tad bit unrealistic. Let me just say that. I'm not going to throw it out there because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But when I look around, I talk to groups of men, I talk to groups of women, and I watch what's happening in all these relationships. I really think that a lot of people end up feeling stressed because they're chasing fantasies that really don't typically exist. And that's just my 2 cents. So that's all I'm gonna say about that because I'm not gonna say nothing else. Gonna make nobody mad. All right, so I'm about to get out of here, guys. So take care. If you want to, we actually do have a film coming out where we got experts talking about relationships and love and everything. It's called The Black Love Blueprint. It should be out by the beginning of 2018. Also, I'm very interested in hearing your opinion, so feel free to leave your comments. And in fact, if you are on social media, Instagram or Twitter, you can actually, leave a comment that I'll see by using the hashtag hashtag Black Love Blueprint. If you use the hashtag Black Love Blueprint, I'll search for the hashtag and I'll see your comment. And if it's on Twitter or Instagram, I'll reply to you. The other thing too is don't forget the All Black National Convention takes place September 29th through October 1st. that is going down. It's going to be awesome. Jay Ortiz, the rapper, will be there, as well as Vigilante, Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. We got Dr. Kevin Cosby, Dr. Tyrus Selden, Shauna Etienne. Of course, I'll be there. Zaza Ali will be there. Jay Morrison, Mr. Real Estate, will be there. We're going to be there to make plans. We're going to be there to set up action strategies for community building, and it's going to be off the chain. If you want to see any clips of it, there's a clip from Killer Mike last year at the ABNC, and the video has been viewed about 20 million times because it's that powerful. So if you're interested, go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. And also, if you're in London, I'll be in London 2 weeks after that. You can go learn about that by going to drboycelondon.com. That's drboycelondon.com. And then also, last but not least, if you're interested in training your kids about wealth and all that stuff to get them prepared for the future, we have great financial flashcards for children that we created for Black children that you can take a look at by going to financialflashcards.com. That's financialflashcards.com. So I'm out of here, guys. Have an awesome night. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.